Jack here, JBF Music and Guitar Lessons. I'm back with one of these critique videos for you. So essentially this is an informal analysis. It's my first time hearing the song, so I just kind of go through it and pick out things that jump out to me. As a disclaimer that I always put at the start here, I'm going to pause this because it's band-maid and they do an awful lot musically in quite a short space of time. I will probably pause quite frequently. So if you want to watch the original video and just enjoy that, or if you want to watch someone watching the video, this probably isn't for you. The original song's purpose is really entertainment. This video is very much an educational one. So if that's something you don't like the sound of, as I say, probably not for you. If, on the other hand, you're like, that's my bag, man, I want to learn about some musicality of the song, maybe get some insights from a musician's perspective, I maybe get a greater understanding about what's going on, and then stick around. What I've got here, as you probably gathered, is No God by band-maid. This is the official live video. I've really enjoyed the live videos that I've seen from them so far, and to be honest, all the songs you guys have suggested so far, they have set the bar high, but they kind of maintained it. It's maybe a bit like a really good TV show, like a Peep Show or Rick and Morty, where they just keep delivering this constantly high standard. I'm off on a tangent now. I'm going to rein myself in and just push play. And just before I jump in, I've been trying to take your guys' suggestions on board, so putting the video back, and this one looks like it has actually got captions or subtitles, so I'll bring them up. How much attention I can pay to them with all the music that's going on as well, I don't know, but I've done it this time. It only took me about, 7 or 8 videos at this point. Get there in the end. Sometimes. Right, let's go. Okay, straight away they've done something weird. There's some interesting effect on the drums. What's going on? Okay, you guys are gonna have to tell me what that is. Is that a backing track, or is that just a weird artifact? Because she's setting a cymbal. It's not like a pad to trigger a sample. So if she is playing to a click, then it could have counted her in, and those are going to come in at the same time as the cymbal. That's probably what's happened. This is the most kind of raggedy one I've heard from them so far. It's got a real edge to it, isn't it? Like a real kind of Dead Kennedys and their Motorhead almost kind of punk vibe to it, like old school punk rock. Cool. So basically over the chords there, which are quite kind of somewhat dissonant progression in and of themselves, we've got the lead playing octaves. I've talked about this an awful lot, so if I've not broken it down yet, I will break that down in the concepts. But speaking of which, if you can't be bothered to listen to me rabbit on, you just want some kind of guitar-based or music lessons, you can get to that with the timestamp. I think this one has been produced quite differently from the ones I've heard before, because it's got a much more raw sound, which I think really suits the song, because it feels like that's the vibe they're going for. Cool, so the riff going on there, dun, 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 dun. It's just kind of a really simple thing, but just a nice melodic hook. And of course there's so much to talk about in these songs. I haven't even started thinking about the vocals at this point. It sounds to me a wee bit like they might have recorded, it might be an aesthetic choice, but they might have recorded the drums a bit too hot, so that it sounds like there's a tiny bit of distortion. Like if something's too loud, I don't want to do it because it's going to be a nightmare for me to mix this here. But you basically get, when you're recording something, you get like a green light, a kind of yellow one, and then a red. When it gets into the red, things are starting to clip. And it can be an aesthetic choice, like Iggy Pop. He'll kind of push things into the red, so it's all got this kind of sound over the top, this kind of noisy thing. It can be a mistake as well. I don't know which one it is here. If you listen to particularly the toms there, it sounds like it's getting kind of pushed into the red and just distorted. It still sounds quite cool. Oh man, okay. So many things. 51 seconds, how did they do this? The thing that really got me there was that cool guitar thing where it sounded like some sort of glitchy keyboard from the 80s that was like having a fit. So I think what she's done is taken a chromatic line and moving it up. So chromatics basically when you take a thing and you just move it up one step at a time. But she's got her octave pedal on, so it's pushing it an octave higher, so it sounds more like a synthesizer, which is something I've talked about quite a lot in these videos. If you haven't seen any of them before, you can check it out with the eye there. We'll put a link to the playlist. But yeah, just a great way to transition to a new section. And you got the slap bass underneath as well, man. Layer upon layer. And just a big triumphant pop punk style chorus. A great hook there with the whoa-oh-ohs as well. Yeah, there's the other thing making it sound pop punk is the drums. If you listen to them, they're doing. If you listen to like pop punk bands like NoFX, MXPX, kind of Alkaline Trio, a lot of them use this beat. They're doing it's like a really kind of fast pop punk one to do. We've got the kind of octave effect on the guitars, again a very pop punk thing, and just some nice power chords ringing out. That was a cool key change. So we changed from one key to another in that section. Okay, it's quite abrupt, so I can't work out off the top of my head what they've done there. I might have to try and break that down. That was cool. Cool, so I think what's happening with the rhythm part, I think this is why this is sounding quite edgy, is I think they're starting on the minor chord, going to the ones who got 6 chords or 1 chord. Then I think it's going down to the 7 chord, which it might be playing. She might be playing as a diminished. Might have a tritone in there. So that's the one. That's where the kind of tension's coming in. I'd need to listen to it more closely as to figure out whether she's doing a power chord or putting the flat 5 in there to give it that tension. This is almost like a sea shanty or something, isn't it? Combined with the drum beat. I'm not too sure what's going on here. The subtitles only seem to be coming up when I'm pausing it, so I do apologise, but I've tried my best here. It's a really cool slap bass there. It's so much. Really great tight harmonies as you never come to expect from them. A lot of kind of chromaticisms and edgy notes, so you can hear in the guitar here the rhythm, the lead is going dun 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 dun. So she's using the open string to kind of pedal between, so go between that and the note she's fretting, getting progressively higher, and it's this sense of unease and tension. A lot of it's coming from that. That is an incredibly abrupt key change. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on there, because it works, but I know something weird's happening. It's the thing, I've watched so many videos of there where they're playing just so on point. I barely even kind of register the technical ability that's going into it anymore. I'm just trying to deconstruct the compositional aspects of it. So it goes without saying, it's all in the pocket. Everyone's playing on fire here. If I was to pick a theme for this, it would be chromaticism and tension. Like, that's what that solo was. That's why it sounds kind of edgy and out, because it is out notes. So that's just going down chromatically. What was the bit we had before? It sounds like she's just kind of going up 3 notes at a time, maybe going between the strings. Yeah, between the G and the B, I think. Then we have a little bend, and then basically playing 4 notes, and going down to the second note they played in that original group of 4, down to the third group they would have played in that original. So you're just going down one at a time, playing 4 notes. That's a much better way to explain it. And if you do enjoy these long-winded and often badly explained ways of looking at music, feel free to hit subscribe and do the enable notifications thing. Okay, aside from the cool slap bass, there's a great little sample playing in the backing track there, and I'm assuming that's what it came in with, this kind of like little laser gun. There's another thing to mention as well here is like her ability to pick cradle. So I've covered this before, you can check out with the eye up there, but hold the pick in between, I don't know if you can see that. Hold the pick in between your fingers, so going from here to there and being able to actually slap at the same time is a talent in and of itself. From a guitar point of view, it's not too difficult to move it there and play with your fingers, but to be able to get a good slapping posture while having a pick cradled somewhere in your hand, it's not the easiest thing to do. And some emotional bridge from out of nowhere. Let's listen to that transition. There's some really nice kind of bells or synths going on in that transition as well, and she's doing something with her voice here to make it incredibly mellow and quite breathy. It just really suits the timbre of her voice, suits the massive change in mood here. So I was thinking there about the harmony, and the harmony, I think, let's double check it. What was cool, yeah, and kind of fading out on that last note. So this is what you call singing in thirds. If I'm able to, I will edit 2 clips of me doing those together on top of it, so you can hear the 2 different notes, but notes from the same scale that work together. I say this every time they do a bridge, but this could be a song in and of itself. This could be like a kind of, Ed Sheeran-y ballad. This could be stretched out to 4 or 5 minutes and probably be a hit by itself. That was cool. So the bend she was doing there was a bit sour. It's a bit like edgy to create this tension for changing the sections. It's kind of created tension by slowly bending to notes that don't really exist. They're not in a scale, the microtones, and then resolving to one with the octaves. Really cool drum beat here. It's instead of going half time, the kind of kick's still plodding along, hitting the cymbals and the snare on the 1 and the 3 still. 1, 2, 3. But you can hear that kick drum is kind of just really filling in the gaps there. Okay, fantastic. So you see there in the vocals, right? That's what I was talking about before. That's clipping and that's intentional. So that would lead me to believe that the drum clipping at the start was maybe to make it sound like those old Iggy Pop records. So there, what they've done is put an effect on to make the vocals seem like they're running too hot and kind of pushing the gain higher than it's supposed to go, so it's distorting. It's like if you've ever coughed into a microphone and you listen back to it, and it's this horrible distorted sound. It's like that, but making it musical. Despite playing the edgy music, they still look like they're having a whale of a time as well. I think that's the way to end that song as well. It doesn't really end. Compositionally, that's quite a cool thing to do. So normally they end on a kind of boom. It's like they kind of wrap it up. I think that's a metaphor I used before, like put a ribbon around it. And here, you want it to go, but they've missed that off, and it gives this kind of sense of unease, like it's not resolved, which I think was kind of the theme of the song. I kind of regret not being able to get the lyrics to come up here. I don't know what's going on there, but I feel that the kind of the title "No God" kind of suggests this kind of philosophical thing. So I'll have to have a read through those and see if they tie into the kind of sonic content as well. Yeah, as always, spoilt for choice of things to talk about. There was some riffs there I really want to break down, and I want to kind of once and for all just cover what I meant when I'm talking about octaves. So let's look at those. Alright, so what I'm going to do is break the parts down and then kind of talk about the music theory that's going on at the same time. So we're in E flat major. For the chorus, that's the kind of upbeat bit. The rhythm guitar is either doing an E flat major or just an E flat power chord, it doesn't matter too much. The lead part is doing octaves. I'm concentrating on this final part here, which kind of goes up the scale in this cool way. So we're going from the root to the second to the third up to the fifth. So you're hitting the chord tones pretty much. We've got the notes from E flat major. The only kind of one that's out is the second, but that just sounds really good in this kind of uplifting. I think that's what the rhythm was for there. I might have misheard that, so do correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But that just, it kind of gives this nice uplifting thing before this really kind of intense riff comes in after. To help transition into the next section, she then goes up to the C octave. So we have this. On that part, we've changed the next section. And when this is being played, we get an A chord underneath in the rhythm. Now, because the C is the minor third of A, this is kind of good. This is one of the few bits of kind of the guitars working in cohesion together in a more like conventional music theory kind of way. Because we're playing that minor third, it's implying an A minor, which makes sense because that's what key we're in. So again, we've got octaves in the lead guitar here, and just to clear up what I mean about octaves, because I talk about them quite a lot because it's a kind of I don't know if you call it a technique, but a voicing that they use quite a lot. You're basically playing one note, right, and exactly the same note higher. And the way these are spaced, it's really quite friendly to play on guitar. You can do quite a lot of riffs and kind of slide them about and stuff. And if I play one note by itself, right, or this one, it doesn't sound quite as full as having them both together, okay? And because it's just one note being doubled, it means harmonically there's a lot more freedom in terms of which ones you can use. So that run-up we looked at is a great example. If we're playing chords there, it would just get messy if we're going... Because of this extra note in there, it's going to add a kind of completely different harmony to it. But because we're playing octaves, we are essentially, as you said, outlining that E flat major chord. There's just the root, the second, third, the fifth. Right. So hopefully that's made sense what I mean when I say playing in octaves. Playing the same note, playing one higher, muting out the other strings. So all you're getting is that note. But when we change key here, this is a really cool thing that's happened. So we've gone from an E flat major to an A minor. But you can hear there, it's almost like Black Sabbath or some like kind of Yngwie Malmsteen-esque neoclassical kind of metal thing going on. This is a bizarre modulation. Not only are we moving by a tritone, which often gets called the devil's interval because it is just uneasy. So not only are we going by a tritone, we're also changing from a major to a minor key. So if you've studied music at any point in your life, whether it be like at high school or college or whatever, this is the sort of thing you're told like to avoid and not do. There are fancy ways, very truncated and elongated ways you can use to modulate by a tritone in a much more kind of smooth way. But here they're using it as an aesthetic choice. It's meant to be jarring. It's meant to be slightly challenging to listen to. And that is probably about the most jarring modulation I can think of. The tritone and switching between major and minor. Just for reference, if they're both major, it's still jarring, but there's I don't know, it's a bit more upbeat. If they're both minor, that almost sounds like a Foo Fighters thing, so that's still quite tense. Like, they're all tense, okay? But I think this major to minor is about as radical as we can get. So what the rhythm guitar is doing is really anchoring the tonality of A minor. We're playing an A again, up to a C, and then a B. So technically this would be an A Dorian, so we'd be playing the 2 here, second chord, up to the 4 chord, down to the 3. The reason I'd say it's technically an A Dorian is because of this note here, which is A's major 6th, which you get in Dorian. And the natural minor, of course, having the flat 6. So we got that. And then what's going on here is really quite interesting. Kanami is essentially still playing in the previous key, but over the top of this new key, this new tonal center of A minor, going. So, you know, for reference, actually, I'm going to bring an E flat up in the background, and I'm going to play this lead part over it, and you can hear that it actually sounds quite nice. So what I suspect might have happened, and I could be wrong here, is that when they were putting the song together, whether they were writing it individually or jamming it, she probably played that part, I don't know, maybe by mistake, or copied and pasted it from something she was trying out in the chorus to the new section and thought, oh, that actually sounds quite good. Because this is the sort of thing that happens in band practices all the time. You come across these like happy accidents where you'll not be paying attention and there'll be a section change and you'll play something, you'll be like, oh, that still works over here. Or you might kind of stop when you don't mean to, but it ends up sounding good and becomes part of the song. So that's just my conspiracy theories. So if you know anything about that, do hit me up in the comments. But again, we've got these octaves. So what we've got is an E flat, twice, this D, and then we're down to a C. And you slide down and out. Repeating that 7 times, I think it was, and then the final time, just those 2 and then down and out of it. So for context, if we think about the chords that we're playing over, we've got this A, and we're playing its tritone over the top with that E flat, the octaves. We got. So in all fairness, this note here and this one and the octaves are in key. We're getting like an A, what would that even be? Sharp 11, an A11, and A minor. Then when we're going up to C, let's go. Which doesn't sound too bad isolated, but in context we'd be expecting a C major here. But we're not getting that, we're getting a C minor because of this note here, this E flat. And a C, add 9 I suppose, then down to the root for a bit of consonance. So let's play this in context. Okay, and then we're going down to the B, which again there's just more tension, it's brilliant. So this note makes B a major chord, and in this key we would expect B to be a minor, but we're playing the major 3rd. Then it goes to the minor, but then to make things incredibly tense it goes to the flat 9, which is probably about the tensest interval you can have when things are being played together. So for context, that one, if I can figure out a way to finger it. So you can hear when we're on that note, it's just got all the crunch. So this is an example of what you call bitonality, because we've got two different tones going on. We've got the A minor, which really is A Dorian, and then we've got the E major. So we've got something in one key and something in another key over the top of it, and this kind of conflict between them is where this kind of tension, this kind of unease, and this chromatic feel is coming from. Check out that for my reactions analysis playlist. Hit subscribe if you want to see more of this thing, or click there for some more bandmaid specific content. But take it easy, guys. Have a good one.